Ryan's headlamp cut through the suffocating darkness of the Kepler 4x42b cave system, its beam dancing across crystalline formations that had grown undisturbed for millennia. The colony's geological survey had detected unusual mineral compositions in this sector, but nothing had prepared him for the ethereal beauty of the underground cathedral he now found himself in. "Emma, you seeing this?" he whispered into his comm, though he knew the signal couldn't penetrate the dense rock above. The cavern stretched beyond his light's reach, filled with translucent spires that seemed to pulse with an inner luminescence. But it was the pool at the chamber's heart that drew his attention. A perfect circle of water so still it might have been polished obsidian, reflecting his light like a mirror. Ryan approached cautiously, his geological training warring with an inexplicable sense of reverence. The water was impossibly clear, revealing depths that seemed to stretch far beyond what the cavern's dimension should allow. Strange symbols were carved into the stone rim, their meaning lost to time but somehow familiar, as if echoing from the depths of human genetic memory. His water reserves were running dangerously low. The cave system had proven more extensive than anticipated, and his return journey would push his supplies to the limit. The pool's water appeared pristine, filtered through countless layers of rock and time. Every rational part of his mind screamed warnings about alien pathogens and unknown toxins. But something deeper, some primal instinct, whispered that this water was not only safe, but necessary. Ryan knelt beside the pool, removing his helmet in the cavern's surprisingly breathable atmosphere. The air tasted ancient, heavy with the weight of eons. He cupped his hands, breaking the mirror-perfect surface, and lifted the crystal-clear liquid to his lips. The water was neither warm nor cold, but seemed to exist at the exact temperature of life itself. As it touched his tongue, Ryan felt a sensation unlike anything in his experience. Not just hydration, but completion, as if he had been unknowingly parched his entire life until this moment. The change began immediately. First came the awareness. Ryan could suddenly perceive the vast network of caves extending for kilometers in all directions, mapped in his mind with perfect clarity. He could feel the planet's magnetic field lines threading through the rock, sense the orbital mechanics of the twin moons overhead, and understand the harmonic resonance of the crystalline formations around him. Then came the connections. Every human who had ever lived seemed to whisper at the edges of his consciousness, not their words or memories, but their essence, their accumulated wisdom and experience flowing through him like a river of liquid knowledge. He understood with crystalline certainty that humanity had been here before, that this world had been a way station in an ancient journey he was only now beginning to comprehend. "You have no idea what you just became." The voice came from behind him, speaking perfect English despite the impossibility. Ryan spun around to find a figure emerging from the shadows, tall, graceful, with features that seemed almost human but refined by eons of evolution. The being's eyes held the depth of stars, ancient beyond measure yet filled with something approaching relief. "Who are you?" Ryan asked, surprised to find his voice steady despite the cosmic revelations cascading through his consciousness. "I am what you call a guardian," the entity replied, stepping into the light. "My people seeded this galaxy long before your species drew its first breath. We left markers, tests, preparations for the day when younger races would be ready to inherit what we began." Ryan felt knowledge crystallizing in his enhanced awareness. "The water, it's not just water. No, it is concentrated potential, the genetic and quantum blueprint for transcendence. Your species has reached the threshold. You are the first to find this place, to make the choice." The Guardian's expression grew solemn, but one human cannot carry this burden alone. As if summoned by the Guardian's words, Ryan's calm crackled to life with Emma's voice, impossibly clear despite the distance and interference. "Ryan, I'm tracking your biosignals. They're off the charts." "What's happening down there?" The Guardian smiled, an expression that held galaxies of meaning. "Your bond called to her across space and stone. She comes because love transcends all barriers, even those we thought absolute. This is why we chose your species, not for your intelligence or adaptability, but for your capacity to care for one another across any distance, any obstacle." Through his transformed senses, Ryan could feel Emma descending into the cave system, following a path that seemed to illuminate itself before her. The colony above was stirring, as if responding to some planetary awakening. Humanity's expansion across the stars had been guided, he realized, Not controlled, but gently nudged toward this moment when they would be ready to inherit the responsibilities of true galactic citizenship. "What happens now?" Ryan asked, though part of him already knew. "Now you choose," the Guardian replied. "Accept what you have become and guide your species toward their destiny as shepherds of this galaxy. Or remain as you were, content with smaller dreams." Emma's voice echoed through the cavern as she rappelled down the final shaft. "Ryan, I see your light." She landed gracefully despite the challenging descent, her eyes immediately finding the pool and understanding, with the intuition that had made her humanity's finest xenobiologist, exactly what it represented. "Together?" she asked simply, approaching the pool without hesitation. Ryan nodded, taking her hand. "Together." As Emma cupped the transformative water to her lips, Ryan felt their consciousness beginning to merge and expand, becoming the first notes in a symphony that would eventually encompass all of humanity. They were no longer just explorers or scientists. They had become the bridge between what humanity was and what it was destined to become. The Guardian smiled one final time before beginning to fade. "Welcome to the greater universe, young shepherds. Use your gifts wisely." The cavern filled with light as two humans became something more, ready to guide their species toward a destiny written in the stars themselves.